Okay, welcome back. We're just going to have a little look. Now, this is your homework, okay? So I'm going to go through it in detail. It was sent out in the forecast with you or to you at the start of the week, okay? And I'll attach it again as an assignment today once I post the video. So what we need to do is classify natural hazards. We need to sort them. There were so many that we just went through, all right? I want you to write down this hazard, a definition. Hazard equals anything with a danger or risk, okay? So these could cause disaster. So a hazard is anything that has a risk or has danger associated with it. Now, your first task, okay, there's 3 tasks. Please complete them all. Complete the table below, complete the table on the different types of hazard that people face. So now we've got definition and examples. There's 4 different types. Atmospheric hazards, ones that happen up in the atmosphere, okay. Terrestrial or geological, okay, that means they happen within the ground. Water-based, obviously over rivers or seas or oceans. And then biological, so any substance, okay, something biological. So I'll give you a big hint there, that's like bacteria or viruses perhaps, okay. So you're going to copy this table here, okay. You need to write down everything in the table, all of these and all of these, all right. Then what I want to do then is sort all of the previous ones we looked at, all of the hazards we've looked at and disasters. You should have written them, each of them, down in your notes. I just want you to place them somewhere on the table, okay? Not the whole definition, just the phrase. So for example, hurricanes, disease, drought. Just find a place to put them, okay? That's the first bit. So you're going to organize them into this table. Secondly, are there any of the hazards that overlap? Okay, identify them and say why they fit multiple categories. So is there a hazard or a natural disaster we've looked at that may fit in 2 categories? You can put that below the table in your assignment and tell me why you think it fits more than one of these headings, okay? And finally then, I want you to rate these 4, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to rate from 1 to 4 the natural hazards in terms of how risky you think they are, all right? So give reasons for your answers. So which of these, based on your table, which of these are the most dangerous hazards and which is the least? So 1 will be the most dangerous, 4 will be the least. Then give reasons for your answers. So if you say atmospheric hazards are the most dangerous, why? Okay, I want some reasons for your choice of putting that as number 1. Water-based is number 2. Why? Give me some reasons. All right, so that is your homework. Okay, it should consist of all this table and then some work below it. And the due date for that will be a week from today, next Wednesday. Sorry, just a week from today when you see the video. Okay, it's on Plus Portal also. Now, moving on. Next thing, skip a couple of lines in your notes, okay? And human disaster. A disaster caused by human action, accident, or intention, leading to severe harm to humans and the environment. So this is what a human disaster is. All right? So again, it's caused by us in some way. Now, it might be an accident, it might be on purpose, we don't know. All right? So again, we're going to go very, very quickly through these because the natural disasters are going to be the bulk of our study for this topic, but I want to make you aware of some of these. So, what about human disasters? Let's jump in. Can anybody identify or remember this huge disaster that happened? Oh, it's going back a couple of years now. Okay. What does it look like? We're out in the ocean, okay, but there's something on fire. And what do we think this blacky brown substance is on top of the water? This was another photo. It got very, very famous after the event. Okay, it's a pelican that's covered in an oil. It's called crude oil. So this was the BP. This was the oil spill at the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig. You don't need to write this, okay? In the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. Okay, only 11 people died. So some people say it wasn't a huge disaster, but 130 million gallons of oil leaked into the ocean. Now this is only about 1,500 kilometers from the Bahamas. It's not that far away. And you can see the impact it had on wildlife. It was a huge environmental disaster. Okay, and like I said, 11 people lost their lives. All right. So what we'll do is, you can do this as a little heading. But what about human disasters? Question mark. Our first one, oil spills. All right, that's our first one. That's all you need to write down. We're not going to write out a big, huge cause for each of these because it's too complex. Can you name the man-made disasters shown below? So what about these? We've had this one already. And what about this here? All right, your second one is forest fires and deforestation. Now, I know we had this already in our natural disasters. All right, but like I said, some forest fires are caused by people. All right, and then this is also becoming a disaster, deforestation. Now, some people say it's not a disaster because they cleared the forest for business and farming, but it is becoming a global disaster now, humans cutting down all of our forests. All right, what about this one? Okay, famine or man-made starvation. So this is a relatively new phrase, man-made starvation. Okay, this one, what natural disaster do you think this one links back to? Okay, so you should have said drought there. So droughts are natural. When the rains don't come, nothing can grow. But also what we do with famine then as well is humans can cause famine through, there's a lot of things through conflicts and wars and civil wars and not supplying aid or support to certain countries. Okay, there's more than enough food in the world for every person, but it's not spread evenly. So man-made starvation is now a human disaster. What about this one? All right, again, drought and water exploitation. Now I know we had drought again as a natural disaster, but there's so many humans now. What we're doing is we're exploiting the water. Now when you exploit something, that means you take advantage of it. All right, this place here is called the Aral Sea. It's over in Asia. All right, it used to look like this, but people are taking so much water from it. Okay, it's fresh water. We've taken so much water from it for farming, for drinking, for using your house, that the lake today looks like this. That's all that's left. These little green patches are all that's left. So just this little bit. All of this is gone. So we are overusing water and it's a disaster. One other thing I want you to add here is just water pollution. I don't know where this photo is, all right, but if you Google water pollution, you get hundreds of photos like this where we pump dirty chemicals, dirty water, sewage, everything out into our lakes and our oceans. Now, what about this one? Right back to the very start of the lesson. Okay, nuclear disasters. Now, there's not been very many of these. Okay, two really in recent memory. And we use nuclear reactors to make our nuclear energy. Okay, so that's why we're using this nuclear material or radioactive material. What happens is it's very, very fragile, and if something goes wrong, it can cause a massive explosion. This one here is from a place called Chernobyl. It was in the Ukraine near Russia. And you can see in the back, if you can see that dome, that's where the nuclear reactor was, and they built a whole big dome over to try and stop it. But so much radioactive waste had leaked out into the air and radioactive gases that the whole city was evacuated and nobody's really been back. People are starting to explore now, but that happened between 25 and 30 years ago. Okay, but it had a huge impact at the time. And our last one, just to finish off with, okay, I think you can all probably guess what that one is, our climate change. So the biggest human disaster, or man-made disaster at the moment, is modern day climate change. All right, I want to be very clear. Okay, I want you to write climate change, but I want you to write down man-made after it. The Earth's climate changes naturally. We've had ice ages in history, we've had warmer periods in history. Climate change is a normal thing. But right now, we're experiencing record increases in temperature. It's never increased so high so fast, okay, and there's no signs of slowing down. So the biggest disaster at the moment is man-made climate change. And the really crazy bit is climate change is causing natural disasters to change. So we're getting more hurricanes than ever. There's more flooding than ever, okay? There's more, all of these different things. Storms are happening in places they never happened before. Sea levels are rising. So climate change currently is man-made, and it's a man-made problem. Okay, that's the last one to add to your notes. I've explained the assignment earlier, and that's due a week from today's lesson. All right.